Hey, what's going on? I am a ceremonial witch. I'll get into that a little bit later, why I call myself that, if you guys even fucking care. But anyways, today is May the 3rd. Pretty cool day for me. My birthday is May 11th. My sun sign, my ascendant, and my Mercury, I want to say, are all in Taurus. So Taurus is huge. For me, I actually have a few other things that correspond to Taurus and stuff like that. I don't call myself a Taurus because like I said, I know my natal chart and all that. But anyways, it is just a little bit of an introduction. I want to get into just maybe why, because a lot of people maybe listen to this and be like, well, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Why makes him qualified? Well, he's been studying fucking magic, ceremonial magic, witchcraft, and for 2 years, and just because he got a few checks and he can do a few things that he's qualified to do this. And no, that's not why I'm doing this. Maybe that makes me qualified, maybe it doesn't. I have been successful at some things, but the reason I'm doing this is just to be another voice saying that this shit is real. There's a lot of false shit out there. There's a lot of maybe, how do you want to put that, infiltration, I guess, into whether it's New Age, whether it's the magic, whether it's, anything spiritual, kind of an old version of spirituality changed to new. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there trying to make it ridiculous and stuff like that. And I guess I just want to be a voice for anybody who is unsure of this path, who is starting on this path, and some days believe wholeheartedly that this is real, and other days people get into their head, or they watch something on YouTube or read a book, and it's so outrageous that they just can't believe it. And that doesn't mean it's not true. That could be just paradigms, programming, whatever you want to fucking call it, what you were taught, clashing against it. But I just want to be another voice out there saying, this shit is real, this shit works. And book learning and YouTube video watching, astrology, tarot, witchcraft, ceremonial magic, fucking hoodoo, fairy, into the Fae lores, the old, planetary magic is huge for me, or planetary bodies, planetary deities, whatever gods, whatever it is, all of this stuff it works. But all these books for these things, all these videos you watch on these things, or from certain people's point of views, what have worked for them. And people that learn from these people or read these books and find their way, such as me, as I did, not actually doing word for word what they tell me to do in these books or in these videos. I mean, I take the process, the base process, and I use that. I use the fundamentals of that. I use this is what people have been doing since it's been recorded, and before Christ or whatever. So this is what has power. This is what's been done. But you gotta conform it. You gotta change it. You gotta play with it and know what works for you. I'm a huge believer in anybody getting down this path. I mean, you don't really need to know astrology to probably do magic, but you will learn something about your talents and your flaws and what you're strong at or good at and what you're not so good at by getting your birth chart. And some people will be like, well, I get my birth chart, but I don't know what this shit means. But you don't need to. I don't know what most of this shit means. I mean, I've read a few astrology books and I have some good correspondence. And after getting those base correspondence from the books, my intuition, whenever I can actually, get my conscious mind out of the way, however you want to put it, whenever I'm actually paying attention, I'll actually learn more from my intuition. But you don't even need to do that. Like I said, I have my ascendant is Taurus. My sun sign is Taurus, and my Mercury is in Taurus. I even think Crayon might even be there. I'm not sure. No, he's in Aries. But anyways, and all I did was, at first I tried putting them all in. What does Taurus ascendant, Taurus sun, and Taurus Mercury mean? And I would just get individual ones like sun and Taurus, sun and this, sun and that. But it would break down what they all were, you know what I mean? And various people say various things, but you get some common ideas between it all. And, so I did that with every one of my signs, In Gemini, I have both the moon and Venus, it's also my third house. So I would just do all those. And then from there, I learned what all the houses meant. I learned what all the planets' energies were. And it wasn't from actually, I read books after, but I'm kind of impatient, like most people are in today's day and age. So instead of waiting and reading all the book information, which I did after, but I went ahead first and, Jupiter in this and Jupiter in that. And throughout these videos, people kept saying that Jupiter is expansive, whatever sign it is, it makes bigger, and, if it's in like a money sign or your family sign or whatever, it's going to expand that energy. My Jupiter is in Pisces, but it's in my 11th house, so it's good in one sense and bad in another sense. And my Mercury is in Taurus, but it's also in my 12th house as well. It's right before my ascendant line, which is kind of cool, which makes sense too. Because, I was born at 5:30 a.m. Anyways, I'm not going to get into all that. But the point of all this is just that this stuff is real, and I just want to be another voice out there stating facts. Fact, this stuff has been around for a long effing time. Fact, this shit is used every day by so many people, and so many people are getting results. Most people don't even comment on the results. I believe that there's just as much, if not more, people on YouTube pretending they have results, pretending they have money, pretending they're doing this stuff, and just ripping off people's information. But by just doing that process and pretending they manifest things, they've got people watching them, people believing in them, because for, every person that doesn't believe them, there's one person that probably does believe them, and it might even be more than that. But, and people started following them, and they probably got ads, and they started making money, and they probably realized, shit, there is power in this. And they probably actually did stop being an armchair occultist and actually started practicing this shit. But, yeah, this stuff is real. This, and it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. If you go along the lines of ceremonial magic, which is the path I initially started with ceremonial magic, because I was huge. I was Catholic. I was a Roman Catholic. I believed in God. I didn't necessarily believe in the church and all the corrupt shit they did. My Catholic school was more corrupt than the fucking public schools. That being said, not everybody at that school was bad, or the teachers, the priests, and all that. But I've always had a belief in God and Jesus and all that. So using ceremonial magic, doing a Kabbalistic cross is not that different from, Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. You know what I mean? You fucking, you know what I mean? It's pretty much the same concept. You're doing a cross. And these words have been around a lot longer than the ones I just uttered. I mean, whether you research the English language versus the Hebrew I just said, or if you're looking at the actual religion itself, it's both have been around a lot longer. So I started off there, but I've been pulled to witchcraft, and anything witchcraft, from fairy lore to fucking dark goddess worship, Luciferian, looking at that stuff. I even researched into the Saintness, I guess I would say, and I don't practice any of that, but there is things that can be learned from every single faction there is out there, And not only that, you have to look at the time some of these things were created, and it'll tell you a little bit, when the church was oppressing, witchcraft, you'll see a lot of dark witchcraft practices coming out. And, they were being oppressed, they were being hunted down. So, yeah, there might not be a place for that today, but that was definitely needed probably back then for them to cope and deal with their circumstances, And I don't judge anybody, I don't judge anything. I'm a student, and all I want to do is learn. And, all over the world, Santeria, Palo, all these different things. You got your Norse traditions, and Greek mythology, all this stuff. I mean, they maybe don't want to be under the witchcraft umbrella, but there's so many similarities that, okay, we don't have to call it witchcraft. We can call it your own mythology and all that. But to me, it's just different languages speaking the same truth. That's not my quote. I actually heard that from Ashbourne Torval when he was talking to Uncle Birch on one of Uncle Birch's radio shows. Those are two guys I learned a lot from. More so Uncle Birch, but Ashbourne Torval is a very, very. He's really trying to normalize magic, which I think is great, and I wish him well to doing that. And it's going to be a hard thing to do, but I believe he can do it. If anybody can, he could. And the ceremonial magic, I got most of my stuff from Frater Xavier, the Mind and Magic channel. So all those three guys, for anybody who hasn't really researched this stuff on YouTube, I would check those guys out. Ashbourne Torval. I think he goes by something else. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. Frater Xavier and Uncle Birch. You can learn a wealth of information from all three of those guys. And Ashbourne was Norse mythology, and now he's kind of doing his own thing, I want to say. Frater Xavier is ceremonial magic, and Uncle Birch is, he's witchcraft. Craft is him. But, he's versed in so many things, so many traditions, so many factions. Just watching his videos, you get a lot of information. Now, he's rough around the edges, and he tells it like it is, and all from his point of view. But that's a good thing sometimes. Sometimes that's what you need to fucking hear. When I first started listening to him, I didn't always like what he said or believed in what he said, because I was doing the ceremonial magic, and it was kind of on a harm none kind of basis. So when he's going around saying he really believed in the harm none, I was like, well, I wanted to throw the baby out with the bathwater because I didn't think that was cool. But the more I listened to this shit, the more I understood where he was coming from. And yeah, there's a time to not harm anyone in your magic. And there's a time where I do believe that you are responsible for dishing out the karma to certain people. But anyways, getting a little off topic. This is just an introduction to this radio thing I'm doing on Spreaker. Also going to be going on my YouTube page. If anybody listens to it, that's cool. If they don't, whatever. But I do want to be out there just as another person saying this shit works. And I'm not a glorified person. I'm not a rich person. But I have had lots of small amounts of successes, to go through just a little list of things. I quit my job that I was working at, and I've been off for almost 2 years now, and making it just fine, by, using my magic, doing ritual to pay my bills and get money and do certain things. And you might say, okay, well, whatever, then maybe this guy lives at home with his mom. And no, that's not the case. I have 4 children, I have a mortgage, and I have 2 car payments. So if you thought that, no, that's not so amazing, it's pretty amazing. And I got a mortgage after being bankrupt for only 2 years. So that alone is, people say it takes 7 years before you can get a mortgage. And no, that's not true. So, I think it's been 3 or 4 times now I've manifested $10,000. But anyways, that's my little intro video. And yeah, have yourselves a great day. Bye now.